Most people think they'll notice when their body starts declining. They won't. Because one of the strongest predictors of longevity after 50 isn't your cholesterol, isn't your weight, it's your grip. And if that sounds almost too simple, good. That's exactly why most people ignore it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You could feel fine right now, walking, moving, living your routine, and still be losing strength in a way that quietly affects your mobility, your balance, and ultimately your independence. Not dramatically, not overnight, but gradually. And what makes this even more surprising is that this single strength test reveals something much deeper than muscle. So the real question isn't, is your grip strong? It's this: what is your nervous system telling you about your future health span? And would you even recognize the warning sign if it showed up today? When most people think about grip strength, they picture forearms, muscles, maybe a handshake. But here's what almost nobody tells you. Your grip isn't really about your hands. It's about your nervous system. It's about how well your brain communicates with your body. And when that communication starts to weaken, that's when healthy aging begins to slip quietly in the background. You see, grip strength reflects neuromuscular integrity. That's a technical term, but let's make it simple. It means how efficiently your brain recruits muscle fibers when you ask it to perform a task. The better that connection, the stronger and more coordinated you are. That's why grip strength is often used in evidence-based health research as a proxy for systemic vitality. Not just strength after 50, but whole body resilience. Think about it this way: when you squeeze something as simple as a dynamometer, you're testing motor recruitment, central nervous system efficiency, and even subtle aspects of balance and coordination. It's a small movement, but it reveals something much bigger. Almost like checking the signal strength on your phone. If the signal is weak, the problem isn't the screen, it's the connection. And here's the insight most channels miss. Grip strength correlates with longevity and health span, not because hands matter more than legs, but because your nervous system controls everything. Mobility, functional fitness, reaction time, even your ability to prevent a fall. So before we talk about numbers, thresholds, or how to improve it, there's a more important question you probably haven't asked yet. If this simple test reflects your systemic vitality, what numbers should actually concern you after 50? Now that you understand grip strength isn't just about your hands, the next logical question is this: what numbers actually matter? Because in the world of longevity and health span, numbers without context are just noise. And most people either ignore them completely or obsess over the wrong ones. The truth sits somewhere in between, calm, measurable, and incredibly revealing. Research in evidence-based health shows that average grip strength declines gradually with age, but there are thresholds where risk increases more sharply. For men over 60, values below roughly 26 to 30 kilograms often correlate with higher frailty risk. For women, below 16 to 20 kilograms raises concern, not as a diagnosis, not as a verdict, but as a signal. And signals, when caught early, give you power. Here's what almost nobody explains. The rate of decline matters more than the isolated number. A person who drops 15% in a year should pay attention, even if they're still technically within range. Why? Because accelerated decline often reflects reduced muscle mass, decreased activity, or emerging metabolic issues. In other words, the trend tells the real story of how to age better. And here's something subtle but important. These numbers are not about ego. They're about independence, about being able to carry groceries without strain, about opening jars, about maintaining mobility and balance in daily life. That's functional fitness. That's aging well. And once you see grip strength as a living metric, something that can change, you start asking a more strategic question. If grip strength reveals frailty risk, why does it predict falls even better than leg strength? At first glance, this sounds counterintuitive. Falls happen because of weak legs, right? That's what most people assume. But here's where it gets interesting. Studies consistently show that grip strength often predicts fall risk better than isolated leg strength tests. And when you understand why, your entire view of functional fitness shifts. Grip strength correlates strongly with overall muscle quality, not just quantity. It reflects systemic sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass and function that affects the whole body. So when grip weakens significantly, it's rarely just the forearm. It's a signal that strength after 50 may be declining globally. And global decline affects mobility, posture control, and balance far more than we realize. Think about this in real life. When you trip, you don't just need strong legs. You need rapid neuromuscular response. You need coordination. You need central nervous system efficiency. The same system that generates force in your hand is responsible for stabilizing you when you stumble. It's not about isolated muscle power. It's about integrated function. That's healthy aging in action. And here's the provocative question that should stay with you. If your hand can predict whether you'll fall, what else might it be revealing about your health span? Because once you start seeing grip strength as a window into systemic vitality, you begin to realize something else is quietly happening with age. Something gradual, subtle, and often ignored. How fast is this decline actually happening after 50? Here's the part most people don't see coming. Grip strength doesn't collapse overnight. It fades quietly. After 50, the average adult loses roughly 1 to 2% of muscle strength per year, and that rate can accelerate with inactivity. That may sound small, but over a decade, that's the difference between confidence and fragility. And this is where healthy aging becomes intentional, because inactivity speeds up the process dramatically. A few sedentary years can double the expected decline. Less movement leads to less neuromuscular stimulation. Less stimulation leads to muscle atrophy. And muscle loss reduces metabolic efficiency, which further reduces energy. It's a cascade. Subtle, progressive, dangerous precisely because it feels normal. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Hospitalization accelerates this decline even more. Research shows that older adults can lose significant strength in as little as 1 week of bed rest. That's not weakness, that's physiology, and once strength drops, mobility drops. When mobility drops, balance suffers. When balance suffers, independence is threatened. That's how quickly the dominoes can fall. But here's the empowering flip side. Because this decline is gradual, it's also modifiable. Strength after 50 responds remarkably well to intelligent training. The nervous system adapts, muscle fibers re-engage, functional fitness improves, and if you can measure decline, you can interrupt it. Which brings us to something practical, because awareness without action doesn't protect your quality of life. So how do you actually test your grip in a way that's simple, safe, and meaningful at home? Now we move from awareness to action. Because knowing about longevity without measuring anything is like checking your bank account once a decade and hoping for the best. The good news? Testing grip strength is simple. You don't need a lab. You don't need expensive biohacking equipment. You just need consistency and clarity. The gold standard is a basic hand dynamometer. Affordable, portable, and widely used in evidence-based health research. You hold it at your side, elbow at 90 degrees, squeeze as hard as you safely can for 3 to 5 seconds, and record the highest of 3 attempts per hand. That's it. Do it once every 2-3 months. Track trends, not ego. Longevity responds to patterns, not one-time performances. No device? There's a practical alternative. Try the dead hold grocery test. Fill 2 grocery bags with equal weight, something manageable, and time how long you can carry them with good posture, or hang from a sturdy bar with your feet lightly supported. These aren't perfect metrics, but they reflect functional fitness. And functional fitness is what protects independence. Here's the subtle but powerful insight. Measuring creates awareness, and awareness changes behavior. When you see numbers improve, motivation rises. When you see decline, you course correct early. That's how to age better, through feedback, not fear. And if you're serious about building a long health span with structure instead of guesswork, that's exactly why I wrote
The Longevity Protocol reveals the science behind a longer, healthier life. Let's explore this journey to vitality together.
It's designed to give you a roadmap so you're not piecing this together alone. But testing is only step 1, because once you know your baseline, the real question becomes, how do you improve grip strength after 60 safely, without chasing extremes or risking injury? Now here's where most people either overdo it or do nothing. Improving grip strength after 50 isn't about crushing steel grippers for Instagram. It's about stimulating your nervous system, preserving muscle quality, and reinforcing functional fitness. Done correctly, it supports longevity, mobility, and balance, without punishing your joints. Start simple. Modified dead hangs are incredibly effective. You don't need to suspend your full body weight. Keep your feet lightly touching the floor or use resistance bands for support. Hold for 10 to 20 seconds, rest, repeat. This activates neuromuscular pathways and shoulder stability at the same time. That's strength after 50 done intelligently, not recklessly. Next, farmer carries, light dumbbells or even grocery bags. Walk slowly, posture tall, core engaged. This isn't about speed, it's about control. You're training grip, posture, and gait simultaneously. That crossover is what protects balance and supports healthy aging. And yes, carrying your own groceries is still one of the most underrated forms of biohacking. Educational light. Functional strength beats flashy strength. Hand grippers can help too, but moderation matters. 2 to 3 sessions per week. A few focused sets. Stop before pain. The minimum effective dose is the goal, because longevity is about sustainability. It's not about maxing out. It's about reinforcing the system that keeps you capable, physically and neurologically. And here's the deeper layer most people overlook. Improving grip strength isn't just about your hands. It supports muscle mass retention, which connects directly to metabolic health, insulin sensitivity, inflammation control, total lean mass. In other words, when you train for strength, you're quietly protecting your health span. But that metabolic connection deserves a closer look, because it might change how you see aging altogether. Now let me ask you something honestly. If your grip strength declined 20% over the next 5 years, would you notice? Or would you only realize it when carrying groceries feels heavier, when your balance feels uncertain, when your confidence quietly shrinks? Longevity isn't built in dramatic moments. It's built in small, measurable decisions. Testing, training, adjusting, protecting your strength after 50, so your mobility, your balance, and your independence stay intact. Because your goal isn't youth, it's independence. So here's your move. Test your grip, train it consistently, track it every few months, and then ask yourself, what other silent markers of aging might you be ignoring? If this opened your eyes, subscribe and turn on notifications, because on this channel, we don't chase hype, we build Healthspan. And before you go, watch the video on screen. Are weight loss drugs making you frail after 60? Strength isn't just about what you train, it's also about what might be quietly weakening you. And that conversation might be even more important.